What is going on, everybody? It's the Frost, and we're here for AEW on TV to review the fallout from Revolution this past Saturday, as we had for ourselves a new AEW World Heavyweight Champion in Jon Moxley. This was definitely a step down from the last 2 weeks of AEW shows on TNT, just because they had 2 matches on this show that felt like they had no business being on main television. They should have been on Dark next Tuesday, but they threw them on here for the hell of it. On top of that, AEW, and this is something I'm going to ask again later. Last week, it was announced that Lance Archer had signed with AEW. The killer, the Mohawk killer, Mohawk Cypher, whatever the fuck his nickname is, signed with AEW. Now, as that show was going on, they made a big deal about this signing, and that this week we were going to get more information, even maybe a debut, from Lance Archer. It is 10:16. The show has been off for 16 minutes, and there was no mention anywhere or visual of Lance Archer. So, what the hell happened? Where the hell was Lance Archer? Now, as people saw today on Free the Elite finale, the Young Bucks show up at Matt Hardy's compound, and he says, "The Bucks are used. I need you to come." And he was nowhere to be seen. Just because the Young Bucks were in that thing does not mean Matt Hardy was signed immediately, and doesn't mean he was going to be on this show immediately. I would have been surprised if Matt Hardy would have been on this show. They're probably waiting, if he is signed with them, they're probably waiting for the right time to bring this guy on. Or bring this guy out and debut him. Just having him come out on a show that is going to be focused on the aftermath of what happened at Revolution would have made no sense. I don't think we'll see Matt Hardy if we don't see him next week. We probably will not see Matt Hardy be a part of AEW's TV shows until either at Blood and Guts or after Blood and Guts. That's just my feeling. Unless he's going to be one of the members inside the War Games match for the heel or the babyface side of the show, of that match. Speaking of Blood and Guts, next week we will get the rules and the regulations for Blood and Guts. JR did tease that maybe, just maybe, that the rules for what we all know is going to be their version of War Games will differ from an actual War Games match. JR mentioned how you might know what the rules are, but that's not. He made it sound like that's not the truth, and we'll find out next week. Hopefully, we'll find out who's going to be what. Like if it's a 5-on-5 or 4-on-4, which I think because it's on TV, you have to do 4-on-4 because 5-on-5 will take up nearly an hour of television. So I can see them doing 4-on-4. Who would be on each team? Who's going to be the captains? We'll have to wait and see. Justin Roberts, at the start of the show, introduces the new World Heavyweight Champion, Jon Moxley. He walks through the crowd, taking his time as the crowd cheers. Moxley gets to the ring. Crowd is still cheering. He eggs them on, and then they get even louder with the "You Deserve It" chant. Which I'm sitting there, and I actually tweeted this out, and I'm looking, damn. A year ago. 1 year ago. 365 days ago, on March 4th, 2019. It was a Monday, actually, because of leap year. It was a Monday. It was Monday Night Raw. I wish I should have went back and looked to see what was going on March 4th of 2019 on Raw. I'm sure Dean Ambrose was out there doing something. But Dean Ambrose in March 4th, 2019 was a dead act on Monday Night Raw, reviving the Shield for the millionth time on his way out of WWE. 1 full calendar year later and a leap day, he is the AEW champion, being cheered and loved by everybody in AEW. So you think this guy made the right choice leaving that hellhole known as World Wrestling Entertainment? I think so. He looks like a fucking star. He acts like a star. This guy was the rightful person to take the title off of Chris Jericho and push this company forward into 2020 for however long he holds this championship. He says there's not a man in AEW who will take this title from him, from his cold dead hands. Says he's not hiding though. Whoever wants to step up will get knocked out or tapped out. He knows those things are not over with him in the inner circle after everything he went through with them. He knows an army is coming after him, has a message for the whole stable. I dare you. He also before said, he says the belt never belonged to Jericho. It doesn't belong to him. It belongs to the AEW fans. He continued that every fan who said they wanted something different, AEW brought back pro wrestling. He says the I dare you, and out comes the inner circle immediately. Jericho, the crowd in Denver singing along as everyone has since Jericho's cruise. And so I don't know how long that's going to go before that dies down. Jericho on the mic says he doesn't need a belt to be Le Champion. Says he realizes that the Moxley era has begun tonight. He asks the fans if they like that, and they cheer. And he says, I don't. I think it sucks ass. As he says that, the crowd starts chanting, "You suck ass." Like things that come out of Jericho's mouth, I don't know what it is, but as soon as he says something, the crowd just resonates with, and they just want to chant along, whether it's against him or with him. It's just so, like, this guy just, he says something and speaks it into existence, and people just go with it. Jericho is one of a kind. Jericho says Moxley's actions were not that of a champion. Since he could see out of both eyes, as I was wrestling and preparing for a man who had one eye. So you having two eyes, and knowing full well that you had two eyes, you cheated. Let's see, he calls Moxley a cheater, and then he turned a good-looking group of guys in the inner circle, good-looking and handsome, he said, into a hit squad. He puts the entire roster on notice, says he's going to tear everyone apart, from the Librarian, Peter Avalon, to Michael Nakazawa, everybody in the back. After the night's tag team main event, Jericho Guevara versus Moxley and Allen, the Moxley won't walk out of this tonight. If Moxley can do that, Jericho will take a leave of absence for 60 days. Jericho says he always has a plan, and Moxley isn't as smart as he thinks he is. Crowd with a big, it wasn't as big as You Suck Ass chant, but a nice Fozzy Sucks chant. Moxley says he's going to spend, he's not a genius, he never finished high school, but he's going to be sending Jericho packing for 60 days and make him look like a stupid son of a bitch. And that was the segment. Good segment to start off the show, and of course Jericho and the Inner Circle were not going to be done with the World Heavyweight Championship. Of course, as long as the Inner Circle is around, the World Heavyweight title will always be in their crosshairs, as well as the Tag Team title should be as well. And if they get a female in the Inner Circle, of course they would add that as well. SCU, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, Scorpio Sky, and Colt Boom Boom Cabana versus the Dark Order, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, Alex Reynolds, and John Silver. This match is happening because of what happened on the pre-show, the buy-in of AEW's Revolution, where Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian told Christopher Daniels to stay in the back. They had a match, lost it to the Dark Order. All four members of the Dark Order beat them up. Colt Cabana comes out, tries to save them. Out comes Chris Jericho, pretending to be Christopher Daniels comes out, pretending to be the Exalted One. They all brawl, they send them packing, and then we got this match here. A lot of action early with SCU getting the better of the Dark Order team. All of SCU crushes Silver in the corner, including Colt Cabana as well. Guy with a big dropkick, cover 2. Daniels tags in and gets a strike. Then Jan in the corner. Uno with the distraction, Grayson drops Daniels. Uno comes into the match. Lots of kicks in the corner. Grayson back in, even more stomps, stopping him. Grayson gets the referee distracted, and all of the Dark Order choke the life out of Daniels for a minute. We go to break, we come back. There was a lot less picture-in-picture in this show than usual. We had a bunch of commercial breaks with no picture-in-picture, where they went to picture-in-picture and they cut off halfway. Silver and Reynolds continue to beat up Daniels. German suplex with the bridge. Beautiful combination between those two. Grayson tagged in Insiguri, but Daniels hits a flatliner and finally makes his way to the tagging in Kazarian. Reynolds tagged in, but Kazarian lands some big lariats. Flying elbow strike. Kazarian scoops lands two guys and hits a springboard leg drop. Uno with a cheap shot, and now everybody's in the ring and brawling. Most of the Dark Order gets sent outside. Evil Uno doesn't realize this as he threw Colt Cabana out. He threw Colt Cabana out. The other guys are supposed to throw the rest of SCU out. But no, SCU turns them around and throws them out. So Evil Uno is celebrating in his corner, and he turns around to all three members of SCU just staring him down. Now, if They would have, if Christopher Daniels was going to be the actual Exalted One, if there's even an Exalted One, and that what they did on Saturday was a red herring, this would have been the perfect time for him to show himself, but he didn't. All three members go out there and just starting beating the hell of him in the corner. Let's see. Grayson's back in and then launched right into the ring post. Daniels with a leaping, yes, he got into the ring, got thrown into the ring post, and you just heard, he just went boom, shoulder first, into that ring post. And this isn't a WWE ring post, remember. These are AEW ring posts, which are not round, they are square. And it's not the flat part of the ring post that's in the turnbuckle, it's actually one of the corners. When you go shoulder first, you're not hitting a flat part, you're hitting a corner. So that could not have felt good. Grayson gets launched in the ring post. Daniels with a leaping stomp and a suicide dive onto Grayson. Daniels just going crazy right now. He's aiming with a slingshot cutter on the Reynolds, which is beautiful. Love the slingshot cutter, especially the way they do it. Silver breaks that up. Uno with another cheap shot, clearing out Sky. Cabana tags in, big elbow strike to Uno. Goes for another on Silver, but Uno thumbs him in the eye. Cabana with a second moonsault on both guys. Cabana and Reynolds on the top rope. Sky takes out all three members of the Dark Order. Cabana with the Chicago Skyline. Drops him down and gets the pin. Superman pin for the 1, 2, 3. Colt Cabana, SCU get the win. Colt Cabana wins his debut. Post-match, Evil Uno yells on the microphone, "This is not how things were supposed to go. The Exalted One will be furious, and when he arrives, heads will roll." There's no that it said he's a he in that rant. So there was speculation it could be a female, which I doubt. But it is, I guess, now confirmed that it is a man. So we don't know who it is. Still, to me, feels like it's going to be Matt Hardy. But I don't have a clue. Definitely not Christopher Daniels. We can finally close that book. So, pretty good match here for Colt Cabana to make his debut. Colt Cabana is one of those guys who does comedic wrestling, but also can do serious wrestling when he needs to. There was some comedic spots in this. The Superman pin is just so goofy. I don't know why the fuck that's even a legit pin that beats people. But I saw him win the national title in the NWA a couple months ago. So it is what it is. Britt Baker joins commentary and gives Shamani a Starbucks coffee with his face on it. Big Swole versus Leo Bates. This match had no business being on this show. They misused Leo Bates, and they have this woman going out there and doing jobber matches, when we all know Leo Bates can do more than they allow her to do. Big Swole wins this with the Dirty Dancing, as they call it, which is the dumbest fucking thing. It's a ripcord discus lariat, which looks so fucking stupid. This match lasted less than 3 minutes. This match should have been a dark match tonight. We should be watching this match on AEW Dark. Big Swole is nowhere near ready for the lights of TNT. Nowhere close. One of the biggest problems with the women's division is that a lot of these women are only working Wednesdays. That's it. They're not going out to a local indie fed and working the weekends to try and get experience. So when they come to Wednesdays nights, they look fantastic in about 6 months or so. You could put these guys, you could put like a Big Swole or some of these other women that only seem to work on Wednesdays in there with a fucking great wrestler like an AJ Styles or a Shawn Michaels or a female competitor that a female equivalent of that. And you could have them go out there and have a match every fucking week, and they're not going to get the experience they need to have a fantastic match down the line. And it's just like the Lucha Bros. The Lucha Bros are wrestling 3 or 4 times a week. They never fucking stop. They work for AEW, but they're off at House of Glory being the House of Glory Tag Team Champions the last time I checked. They might not be anymore, but I could be wrong. They're working down in AAA still. They're always working. A lot of these men and women don't work outside of Wednesday nights or Saturday. Tuesdays don't count because that's taped on Wednesdays as well. They don't have enough time for these wrestlers to get the time that they need to go out there and be a complete package later down the line. Big Swole is nowhere near ready to be touted as a top contender or so close to be a top contender. This match was bad. Both of these women went out there and they stunk up the joint. This was definitely one of those matches that should have been on Dark. No business for it being on TNT tonight. Big Swole they want to try and push as being a contender eventually to Nyla Rose, which I wouldn't buy it worth a minute. After what we saw Nyla Rose and Kris Statlander have on Saturday, which was not a good match. Looking back on it, not a good match at all. The women's division is hurting because they only come and work on Wednesdays. They don't do house shows because Tony Khan does not believe in doing house shows every week, which they don't have to do 200 days a year. But getting a Leva Bates or a Big Swole or a Kris Statlander or a Nyla Rose another day or two, like maybe the weekends every so often, once a month on the weekends, or twice a month on the weekends, having house shows in somewhere, or like you have Wednesday, and then like Thursday, Friday, you could have run a show in a smaller building in the same area, have everyone else go home and stuff. It's just they don't have enough time for these women to go out there and give us a reason to fucking care down the line. Cheetah probably goes out and works more, I don't know. But it's just, a lot of these women, and of course they met a lot of guys too, they just work on Wednesdays and it's not going to help them in the end. You need reps. The reason that AEW could struggle in the future is because they have men and women coming in, working only Wednesdays and not getting the reps they need to be a fine-tuned machine for AEW. Jon Moxley doesn't need that type of reps. Neither does Cody. Neither does the Lucha Bros. Neither does SCU because they've been doing it for so long. But because they went out there and they wrestled multiple fucking places and multiple fucking times, getting all the reps they can. All I know is, again, this match should have been on Dark on Tuesday, not tonight. It was a bad match. We get a recap of Cody at meeting MJF being Cody at Revolution after the pop being Cody in the mouth with the AEW Diamond Ring. The lights go down and we see the Cody thing come up, but I'm sitting there thinking this is going to be MJF again because MJF beat Cody, and what would be another way to piss the crowd off again by doing the Cody entrance? But no, it was Cody. He comes to the ring. Apparently, this was one of those non-picture-in-pictures. He goes and introduces a cameraman off TV, which got a pop from that crowd. Cody says he's not sure if he wants to talk about what it's like to lose personally MJF, but professionally, it's a tough pill to swallow. Then says he could deal with what happened if MJF would come out of this ring and tell him if he beat Cody fair and square. Some weird music starts playing. The camera pans back to the entranceway, and on the cloud it says Jake the Snake Roberts. Yes, Jake the Snake Roberts is in AEW. Makes his way to the ring. Roberts says he's sorry to spoil the party, but he doesn't want to hear Cody cry and bitch. Cody just got his ass kicked. He's not to pray. He's not here. He's tired of hearing him bitch and complain. He's not here to praise him. He's here to slay him. Says he has a client. The dark side will be coming to AEW. Robert says he's gotten clean and sober, and he worked his ass hard to get it, and he earned it. He talks about the mind games he would once play with his opponents just by using the snake, by putting the snake in the bag and making you think about it. And once you started thinking about it, I had you where I wanted you. He says he'll be on the outside of the ring when his client shows up. He tells Cody to bring that one-trick pony Arn Anderson with him. Says he's not in AEW to take the whole pie and just Cody's share. And he said, a wise man once told me, never turn your back on somebody you respect. And then he just walks away, tosses the mic back to Cody, walks away. And you just see this visual, and Cody with this questionable look on his face, like, what the fuck have I gotten in? What the fuck is that? What the fuck was that? What is he got in? What is he talking about? Who is he talking about? It could be Lance Archer. Maybe that was the whole way. Like, JR last week said we're going to hear more information about Lance Archer this week, which we didn't. Maybe it's Lance Archer. I don't fucking know. But it's that you got me intrigued. Who does Jacob Snake Roberts have? Who is going to be this dark side? to AEW. To slay Cody, to beat Cody, to take the winner's share of the prize. It's going to be an interesting television, what happens with Cody and this dark side. Maybe it's definitely not Matt Hardy, that just makes no sense. Maybe it's Lance Archer, maybe it's somebody that nobody knows about. Maybe it's Brody Lee. That could be another one. Maybe it's Brody Lee. Who knows? And no, I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but people are like, oh, and Wrestling got in on it too. Apparently AEW was supposedly teasing Brody Lee making his debut this week when they tweeted it's Wednesday because since his contract was terminated, he's been on this 90-day no compete clause. Brody Lee's been tweeting out, it's Monday, you know what that means. It's Tuesday, you know what that means. It's Wednesday, you know what that means, and over and over and over again. So people took that as them teasing him. No, not really. Just people reaching because they know he's coming. They now know Matt Hardy's coming. By far, Matt Hardy's coming. I don't want to see. It's one of those things that people want to just sit there and guess, and they're going to get this. People want to guess, and they're going to get pissed off when they're not right. And neither one of them showed up. Brody Lee can't show up until next Wednesday at the earliest. I'm sorry about the whole Lance Archer thing, which you guys advertised it last week, and then nothing. It was as if nothing was going to happen this week. What happened there? That is twice this year that AEW has false advertised something for us. So I don't know what's going on with Lance Archer. There was no mention of the guy at all tonight. No video package. No nothing. I don't know what's going on with Lance Archer. Is he still coming to AEW? I saw his Killing the Elite shirt. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what goes on. But I haven't seen anything or heard anything from Lance Archer. And I swear that I heard that last week. Pac versus Chuck Taylor. Why this match is happening, I don't know. Yes, Pac beats... Oh, wait. At the beginning of this match, I wondered why this match was happening. After this was over, then it made sense. As we saw, Pac beat Orange Cassidy with the help of the Lucha Bros at Revolution. Why did this match happen tonight? Well, this match was a pretty good match here. It wasn't a long match because after the Brutalizer was put in, he taps, or he says yes. He verbally says yes. Trent gets in the ring in Pac's face, but Cassidy pushes him away and says, no, this is my guy. We're going to do this. He's staring down Pac. And the Lucha Bros run out. Double super kicks to Cassidy. Lucha Bros and Pac beat the hell out of all three members of the Best Friends of Orange Cassidy. Pac gets on the mic and says, we are Death Triangle. Or as they said something in Spanish. I don't know exactly what the fuck they said. And that nobody is safe. And AEW management, you did this to yourselves. Spiked package power driver to Orange Cassidy. They hold his head up and they start talking trash to him. We have ourselves a new group in AEW with the Lucha Bros and Pac being Death Triangle. They will have a match next week. A 6-man tag match, which maybe, who knows, maybe they're going to be three of the men inside the confines of Blood and Guts. I don't know. But next week, we will find out everything we need to about Blood and Guts, so we'll have our thoughts on that. We had our second match that had no business being on this show tonight and needed to be on AEW Dark. Jake Hager versus QT Marshall with Brandy and Dustin Rhodes, as Jake Hager had Santana and Ortiz. This was a nothing match. QT Marshall got a little bit of offense in on Jake Hager, but Jake Hager hits a big lariat, locks in the standing triangle, and that was that. It's after the match, though. First match, Hager holds on the move. Dustin runs in to break it up. Trying to powerfully get in there and attack Dustin. Cody then runs out and clears Santana and Ortiz from the ring, but Cody swings at Hager, but Ortiz smacks Cody in the back with a chair. We'll talk about that in a second. They go for another shot, but Matt Jackson comes out. No, Nick Jackson was not here tonight for whatever reason. Matt swings away on Hager, but then he eats a high-level elevating arm slam. A tipsy Adam Hangman Page, who's holding a beer, walks out to the ring. He tells Ortiz, who has a chair, You take it easy. He takes a sip of beer, puts it on the ring post, and then swings at the inner circle. He clears out Santana and Ortiz. Hager goes to throw him out of the ring, but he catches on the rope. He's balancing himself, jumps over, buckshot lariat, goes back to his beer. Then he sees Matt. They have a few words. He flips him off and heads out for another beer. And as picture-in-picture goes on, you see him grabbing a bunch of beers from everybody who's handing them to him, and he walks off. Beautiful. It was pretty good. The match was nothing. It should have been on Dark, but the after the effects was what was good. Now, we'll talk about this later as well when it comes to the end of the show. But after what happened in this specific thing right here, Ortiz will be taking on Cody next week. That should be a fantastic match. This, of course, will be Cody's first match since the loss to MJF, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Now, Cody, of course, being moved away from MJF right now is the right thing to do. You don't want to just bring this, like pull them back in right now as we want to go to Double or Nothing. Double or Nothing should be where the blow-off between Cody and MJF actually goes. But next week, Ortiz and Cody. MJF is backstage with Wardlow. He says he is indeed the final chapter of Cody's epic odyssey. The fans should pick someone new to follow, and that's him. He plans on staying undefeated in AEW, and it doesn't matter who he faces. And that's because I'm better than you, and damn, Wardlow, it's getting hot in here. Can you help me take this off? He takes off his jacket, and it says, I pinned Cody on his shirt. He says, oh, I totally forgot I was wearing this. It's kind of embarrassing. It's distracting and obnoxious. Kind of like a neck tattoo. And the crowd heard this and went and just hated him even more. God, MJF is fucking fantastic. Yes, he mocked the neck tattoo, which was kind of distracting in the match. And it's just kind of funny how Cody got this neck tattoo between last Wednesday and last Saturday, for one of the biggest matches of his fucking of AEW on one of the 4 biggest shows of the year. You got a neck tattoo going into that. Yeah, no. And MJF with the Butcher will take on Jurassic Express next week. 6-man tag team action. So it'll be the first time Cody will have a match since his loss, and MJF will have a match since his win. Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara versus Jon Moxley and Darby Allin. And if Moxley can leave under the ring under his own power, Jericho will take a 60-day leave of absence from AEW. Moxley makes his way to the ring and is jumped by 3 masked men, which was so blatantly obvious what they were going to be doing there, because as he's coming down, you see these guys sitting there with masks on. They jump up, they beat him down. He tries to fight back, the numbers are too much. And then they take the mask off, and it's Hager, Santana, and Ortiz. Big shock. He fights back, but the numbers are too great. Hager with a low blow kick. He gets up and fucking beats up on them again. But then they drop him. The triangle choke is put on to Jon Moxley. He is out. He is down. We go back into the ring bells. It's Allin on his own. 2-on-1. Now, one of the problems I have with the Inner Circle is that they're feuding with so many people. Cody's doing with Ortiz now. You had Dustin's obviously is not done with Jake Hager. You had the thing with QT Marshall. Matt Jackson was out. Hangman Page was out. Where the fuck was everybody when Jon Moxley was getting beat down? Oh, Jon Moxley has no friends, I guess. Because, he's AEW champion. Where's Cody? Where's Cody with the Ortiz thing? Why didn't Darby Allin run out from the match and go out there and help Jon Moxley to get him into the ring? No, let's just have this go on. So they're having the match here. Darby Allin's doing everything he can, getting beat down and beat up by Guevara and Jericho. Towards the end of the match, he is going over to his corner. He gets up and does like he was getting tagged in. The referee accepts it as a tag. And for whatever reason, when he did the whole I'm tagging myself in, he was like a new guy. It was like a brand new Darby Allin because he comes over and starts beating the hell out of both Allin and Jericho. I mean, not Allin, but Jericho. So Guevara and Jericho. To the point where it looked like he was going to win. Coffin dropped on every single person outside the ring who's in the inner circle because everyone else came down from their beatdown of Moxley. Coffin dropped them all down, got Guevara back in the ring with the big holy shit chant from the crowd, back in over the top stunner. It's the Stun Dog Millionaire, actually. Coffin drop hit on Guevara, cover, but Jericho breaks it up. He hits Guevara by mistake. Jericho is sent to the floor. Allen tries for the suicide dive, but at the right time, we get the Judas effect in midair. They showed it on replay. Tosses Allen back in. 1, 2, 3. Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara win. Moxley ends up running down after this with a chair, and the doctors and ref chase him through. Moxley throws the chair at Hager, then clears out the rest of the inner circle. Hager back in the ring and hits a cheap shot on Moxley. Santana and Ortiz bring him up the stage. Jericho swings away and they all start beating the hell out of him. Hager with the standing arm triangle. Then Santana and Ortiz and Hager grab him and they powerbomb him off the stage and down through a table. The group then flip him off. Moxley is out. Looks like Jericho isn't going to be going on that hiatus just yet. The group celebrates together on stage as the show closes. Wasn't a big fan of this thing. It's like you have the inner circle having all these parts of them feuding with other members of the roster. And earlier, when Dustin and QT Marshall were getting hurt and beat up, Nick Jackson comes out, Cody comes out, Hangman Page comes out. But when the World Heavyweight Champion is getting his ass kicked by Inner Circle, no one to be seen. Yeah, not a big fan of this one. This show is actually definitely a down for the Swole and Leva Bates match, which was bad, and the Hager and QT Marshall matches. If those matches were on Dark, it would be a little bit more acceptable to him. But just putting them on this show made no sense whatsoever. But overall, it was a pretty decent show. I'm still wondering where the fuck was Lance Archer? Where was this so-called information or debut we were supposed to have? You advertised it last week, and then it seems you forgot about it. So what the hell's going on with that? Is he going to be the dark side of AEW when it comes to slaying Cody with Jake the Snake Roberts? Is he Jake's client? I don't know. Will Matt Hardy or Brody Lee show up soon in AEW? I don't know. We will know next week a little bit more with Brody Lee for sure, for the simple fact is Brody Lee's contract, 90 days, is up on Saturday, actually, Sunday, whichever. Now, to anybody asking, how can Matt Hardy show up tonight on AEW? Yes, he could have. If Matt Hardy really wanted to and signed a contract or anything, he could show up tonight. But the simple fact is, his contract came up and expired. Brody Lee was fired. There's a difference. There's a massive difference. So if Matt Hardy wanted to show up in Denver tonight, all for it. But they didn't. So next week should be interesting. We'll know what Blood and Guts is going to do. We have some good matches going into next week's show. I'm sure some more will be announced as we go on to the rest of the week into next week. But that was AEW for tonight. I'm not doing NXT tomorrow. You think I forgot about the XFL? I will be doing that tomorrow. I wanted to take another 2 days to figure out my first power rankings for the year. I don't think power rankings should be something you do for the XFL or any sports league right off the bat. You should have at least close to the halfway point before you get into power rankings. So I'm going to get my power rankings for the first time this week, and we'll be able to do a lot more on Tuesday next week. But until then, hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter at The France Club, and I will see you guys tomorrow for XFL analysis, review, predictions, and the power rankings. Until then, my name is The France, and I'll see you guys later.